Chapter 2: A Revolution in Work. In the small mill towns of England, the winds of change were beginning to stir. Before the advent of the industrial age, most people lived in rural areas, and their work was connected to agriculture. They grew their own food, spun their own wool, and made their own clothes. But now, entire populations were beginning to flock to the growing urban centers in search of work in the new factories. In 1781, Samuel Slater, an Englishman who had learned the intricacies of textile machinery, crossed the Atlantic and brought the secrets of mechanized cotton spinning to America. This marked the beginning of industrialization in the United States, where textile mills began to spring up in New England. In the textile industry, the revolution was particularly profound. Machines like the spinning jenny, invented by James Hargreaves in 1764, allowed a single worker to spin multiple threads at once. Richard Arkwright's water frame, introduced in 1769, could produce stronger, finer yarn by utilizing water power to turn machinery. As these machines evolved and steam power was harnessed, textile factories began to sprout up in cities like Manchester and Lowell, Massachusetts, drawing workers in from the countryside. Life in the factories was harsh, though. Men, women, and children worked long hours, often in unsafe and unhealthy conditions. The factory system was far from ideal, with workers toiling in crowded, noisy spaces where accidents were frequent and disease spread rapidly. Yet, for many, factory work offered a steady paycheck, and in an age when most people lived in poverty, this was a tempting option. Among those who worked in the factories were young women, often from poor rural families, who would leave their farms and travel to the mill towns in search of better economic opportunities. They were known as mill girls, and though their lives were far from easy, they represented the promise of upward mobility that industrialization seemed to offer.